Okay, so let's discuss a little bit about well, differential equations. We will do that for the first time. We'll do two of the simplest types of differential equations. Those that can be solved by direct integration. Our equation for y prime equals to f of x, right? And also those that are separable, which are equations for y prime equals to something depending on x. Let's call it a of x times something depending on y. Let's call it b of y. So let's try to deal first with the direct integration type of equations. So let's go back to the very beginning. So what are differential equations? It's every equation you could write which involves the independent variable x, y prime, y second. So we can go on and on with the derivatives. The maximum order of a derivative which appears in the differential equation is called the order of the differential equation. For example, this one, y prime equals to, let's take the simplest one, 2x, is a differential equation of order 1 because y appears as the first derivative, right? So in general, there's a nice rule. So if an equation is order 3, if you write down the general solution, as in general solution means all solutions, but it's a frequently used acronym in this class. So GS for GS is the general solution, as in all solutions. So the general solution involves a number of constants. And it's a very nice rule that the number of constants, independent constants in the general solution equals the order of the differential equation. Right? So number of constants here equals order. For example, that's an equation of the first type, direct integration. So that's exactly what it says, direct integration. If we know the derivative, how to find y. So we know the derivative of y will be the reverse of taking the derivatives, anti-derivative, is the integral, right? So y will be integral of 2x dx. Then obviously we have to put plus c when you do this, right? And there is x squared plus c. And this will be GS, the general solution. This is one of the first favorite acronyms, GS. There is one more, which is, be careful here, IVP. IVP from initial value problem. So what will be, okay, let's continue with this general solution. So like I said, the number of constants in the general solution equals the order of the differential equation. Just to give you an example, let's say we have let's put side by side, just to look at both of them and compare. What about if we have y second equals to, make it to look nice, 6x. Let's find the general solution of this one. What's the order of this differential equation? I can get out of the, if I only speak, right? So what's the order of y second equals to 6x? Order 2, right? Because it's second, right? So y second, order 2. So how many constants we expect? 2 constants in the general solution, right? So this is a second order. You know, the common sense way to approach this is first find y prime by integrating once, then find y by integrating the second time. Right? So this one implies this, meaning, so I use a lot of times this symbol means implies, right? This implies y will be, y prime equals to integral of 6x dx plus c, which will be 3x squared plus c. And then integrate one more time. Y will be integral of 3x squared plus c dx, right? plus another constant. Shall we write plus C again? No, it's like in a programming. So you use a variable. You are not allowed to use the same variable unless the variable is discarded by finding a value or something like this. So we have to use another letter. So plus D. So now we got a nice picture of the general solution. Y equals to x cubed plus cx plus z is the general solution for the second order differential equation. Right? Okay, so is it clear? So first order one solution, second order, first order one constant, second order two constants in general solution, and so on, which are independent. Okay, so let's do, just to finish the basic acronyms, let's discuss a little bit about, now we discuss about GS, general solution. Let's discuss about IVP, initial value problems. Let's see. So can I erase this stuff? Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, I can erase this one because it was already. Can you see it a little bit? Yeah, because it will be too close to me. So if I measure from here to here, it's definitely less than 6 feet.
Okay.
So
You're fine?
there is fine, yeah. Okay. So what's the IVP? IVP is a differential equation in which we put an initial condition, so to say. So this could be, for example, example of IVP. Y prime equals to 2x, like the one we did previously, and then throw in initial conditions. So let's say y of 1 equals to 3, or something like this. I just picked at random. How to solve this IVP? So to solve an IVP, initial value problem, consisting of a differential equation and a bunch of initial conditions. But here we have only one initial condition. Again, there is a nice symmetry in everything. Number of initial conditions equals, again, the order. Why? How do you explain that number of initial conditions is the order? Because we have, in the general solution, we have order n constants. So we need n pieces of information to solve n constants. So that's the idea here. That's why you need n initial conditions. So in this case, we have one initial condition. How to solve this one? First, solve the find the GS, which we did. Y equals to, what was it? X squared plus C. Remember? Then, second, use the initial condition, in this case only one, to solve for C. Right. How to use the initial condition? Look at the initial condition, y of 1 equals to 3. So we got the general solution. So here we have to, in the general solution, to find C, we have to set x equals to 1, right? And y equals to 3. And we get C. So set x equals to 1 and y equals to 3 in the general solution, then find C. And still in the bounds. Okay, so what will be x equals to 1, y equals to 3. 3 equals to 1 plus C, so C equals to 2. So what is the solution by IVP? Solution of the IVP is y equals to x squared plus 2. And a good thing to know, in the solution of the IVP, there is no constant. The constants are only in the general solutions. Okay, now, so this will be keep us, so with GS and IVP, those magic acronyms will keep us busy to the end of this class. So every time we discuss about them. So it's good to know them from the beginning. Any questions? What to look at IVP for the second order? if this works and in the movie, I mean, it's you know, is lookable, so to say, then I'll send I'll send it to you anyway if it doesn't look too good, but anyway. What about this IPP? Y second equals to 6x. We did previously this one. So remember the general solution, x cubed plus cx plus d, right? And then which will be the initial conditions? Y of 1 equals to, pick at random, 1, and y prime of 1 equals to 4, right? Throw in some initial conditions there. So how to solve this one? We did previously general solution after integrating twice, y equals to x cubed plus cx plus d with two independent constants because we have two constants for second order. And now we have to we need two pieces of information. For the first one, okay, because in the initial conditions, these are the ICs, initial conditions. Because we need two initial conditions. We have to, for once, we have to set x equals to 1 and y equals to 1. But we also need y prime because I have a y prime in the initial conditions. So that's why it's customary to do y prime on the spot. Y prime equals to 3x squared plus c. It will be helpful too when you use initial conditions, right? So in the formula for y, here, what we have to do? Set x equals to 1 and y equals to 1. What information we get? 1 equals to 1 plus c plus d. What is 1? So 1 equals to 1 plus c plus d, right? X equals to 1, y equals to 1. That means c plus d equals to 0. Keep it in mind, that's the first piece of information. Now, for the second one, we have to set x equals to 1 and y prime equals to 4, because y prime is 4 when x equals to 1. Y prime of 1 equals to 4, right? So what do we get here? 4 equals to 3 plus c. So therefore, c equals to 1, right? And because c plus d is 0, d equals to minus 1, right? Because c plus d is 0, right? Because of in reference to c plus d equals to 0, right? Therefore, what's the solution of the IVP? Like I told you, the solutions of the IVP have no constants in them. So y equals to x cubed plus x minus 1. So that's the unique solution of this initial value problem. So the unique solution of this differential equation satisfying those conditions, right? Okay, so now let's do more examples of direct integration, which are not that easy, like integral of 2x, right? So basically, this contains all the calculus too, with all the integrals from trivial to very complicated. Let's do one more complicated. So let's say y prime equals to, make it logarithm of x. And y of 1 equals to 2. Let's solve the differential equation. What kind of equation is this one? It's an equation which can be solved by direct integration. Right? So everybody knows what's the derivative of logarithm of x, right? What about the antiderivative? It's not like very famous that it's in the tables, right? So we have to do it somehow. Right? Okay, so first of all, solution here, find the general solution. Y prime equals to logarithm of x implies y equals to integral of logarithm of x dx plus c, right? Sometimes I don't put plus c until the very end, so it becomes kind of lazy. But we can put plus c. Okay, so how to do this integral? There are two important. There are many techniques of integration, but basically the fundamental ones are substitutions, integration by parts. There are other ones like partial fractions, but partial fraction can be used only for special types of integrants. What do you propose here? What about integration by parts? Right. So if in integration by parts, so in some cases are very done frequently, like polynomial times exponential. If you do integral of a polynomial like x squared times e to the minus 4x dx, exponential gets incorporated in dv, right? In the integration by parts, u dv. Right? If you do trig, polynomial times trig gets incorporated in dv. If you do exponential times trig, that's harder, but still we have to run the integration by part twice and solve a system and find both constants. But here is none of those types. It's not a polynomial times x. It's not a polynomial times trig. It's just logarithm of x. So what will be the Hail Mary of integration by parts? The Hail Mary of integration by parts, if you don't know a particular method, dx is dv. So dx is dv. So we discussed about, not we necessarily, but this was discussed in calculus too. So the Hail Mary of integration by parts, dx is dv. So we'll get here. Let's put the set up for integration by parts. U equals to logarithm of x, dv equals to dx, du equals to what? 1 over x dx, and v equals to x. So we put all 4 items here. So integration by parts is integral of, this will be u dv is uv minus integral of v du, right? So here is uv minus integral of v du. So what's uv? X log x minus integral of v du. What's v du? Look at those. X times 1 over x dx is just dx. So this will be what? X log x minus x plus c. Just to get in the frame. X log x minus x plus c. This will be the general solution. Right. Now, we need y of 1 to be 2. So now IVP. Set x equals to 1 and y equals to 2. In the general solution. What do we get? Y equals to this. So 2 equals to 1 log 1. What is 1 log 1? 0, because logarithm of 1 is 0, minus 1 plus c. So minus 1 plus c. So we just got the value of the constant c. C equals to 3. So what's the solution of the IVP? X log x minus x plus 3. The solution of the IVP is, the answer here, y equals to x log x minus x plus 3. So if you are in a hurry, whenever you are in a test, well, this will never happen this semester, but in general, if you are in a hurry and want to check out your answer, check the initial condition here, just to make sure that the initial condition is satisfied. Y of 1, I want to be 2. 1 log 1 minus 1 plus 3, easy, 2. Yeah. So doesn't mean that the result, probably this is wrong, and then the initial condition still checks, but okay, so let's do another one. Okay, but because of the time, let's do one of the other kind, just to cover all the bases today. Equations of which are separable. separable equations. Let's see, y prime equals to a of x times b of y. These are the separable equations. So, for example, y prime equals to sine x times e to the power y. It is separable. Something depending on x times something depending on y. Separable, right? Y prime equals to x plus y. This is not, right? So not this one. This is okay. Y prime equals to x, y plus x. Separable or not? In deciding whether something is separable or not, everything boils down to can we factor it? Something depending on x times something depending on y. So for in this case, xy plus x, can you factor xy plus x as something depending on x times something depending on y? We give a common factor x, and this can be rewritten as x times y plus 1. So see, something depends on x and something depends on y. Separable, right? Y prime equals to xy plus x plus y. What about this one? Plus. Well, this we cannot factor. So because what factor can we have in mind? If we want to give an x factor, there is no x here. If you want to give a y factor, there is no y here. But in general, this cannot be factored. So it's not separable. What about if I just add a single one? Y prime equals to xy plus x plus y plus 1. In the materials I sent you, it was a table, so which one is separable, which one is not. I want to solve that problem here. So separable or not? One rule of thumb, don't imagine that a sum with a lot of things in the sum is not separable, because it still could be factored nicely, right? Can we factor this one? What about x plus 1 times 1? Yeah. Your own. X, y plus x.
Can you do like x plus 1 times y plus 1?
Excellent. Super. X plus 1 times y plus 1. Which shows that the equation is separable, right? Okay. We are done with the definition, and now let's do a problem. Right? So we need an equation of the form a of x times b of y. Let's see how it works. Can I erase this stuff now? Let me leave this one here. In general, there's the technique of solution. So write y prime as dy over dx. So this is a technique. Dy over dx equals to a of x times b of y. Now comes the power of the word separable. Fully separate everything. Y is on the left, x is on the right. So y is on the left, so including differentials. Differential dx is an x, right? Differential dy is with the y's, right? So y is on the left, x is on the right. So dy over b of y equals to a of x dx. So we fully separate the variables, including differentials, which are also treated as variables of x type or y type, because there are x variables which could be either normal variables or differentials, and y variables which are normal y's or differential of dy. Okay, once we do this, integrate left and right, because now we can do the integrals in principle, right? So integral of dy over b of y equals to integral of a of x dx, then plus c. Because every integral, basically the idea is every integral has a constant in it, but if we have two constants, plus c1 plus c2, the c1 and c2, they combine together and get still plus a constant c. And I don't know. So this, depending on the problem, this could be complicated, could be easy. So, but still, let's assume that we do it. And once we do this integral, so basically dy here. Once we, I already wrote dy. I didn't see it. So once we do this integral, it's something, right? So let's call that something, which we get after the integration, capital B of y. And again, after we do this integral, we get something, which this will be capital A of x plus c. There's the general solution. There is only one problem. Written like this, the general solution is an implicit form. If you can solve for y, do it. Otherwise, if it's a little bit harder or to solve for y, if it's not really necessary to solve for y for other purposes, don't. Leave it in an implicit form. Okay, let's take an example. Let's take an example in which you don't have to do the implicit and one which you have to do implicit. Right. So y prime equals to 2xy. And then let's throw in initial condition, so to do an IPP, y of 1 equals to 2. We have this space to solve the problem. Okay, so first of all, there's the solution, right? General solution is first. dy over dx, that's right, y prime is dy over dx equals to 2xy. Now, y is on the left, x is on the right. So what I'll bring to the left? Do I bring y to the left from right to left or 2y from the right to left? Doesn't really matter too much, only the beauty of the math present there. So since everyone knows that 1 over y, we know the antiderivative. So I'd rather go with only a single y from the right to left, just to use this logarithm properly, so to say. So move this y from the right to left, I get dy over y equals to move this differential dx from left to right, and I'll get 2x dx. And again, it's important that I left the 2 here because 2x is a nice antiderivative. So knowing how to do those things is a kind of matter of mathematical beauty, so to say. Okay, integral left and right. Integral of this, let's see, let me put it, let's not be lazy here. So integral of dy over y equals to integral of 2x dx. But it's a very nice, again, you don't have to do it, but again, like we did here, I just only brought y from right to left for the sake of mathematical beauty. So write a constant in the form plus logarithm of c, because we anticipate a logarithm from this one. I want to, if I already know that the logarithm here, I want to have logarithms as much as possible everywhere so that I do the e to that power and I kill the logarithms instantly at the very end. So there's the tip here. The constant, if we anticipate a logarithm on the left from integral of dy over y, the constant will be written in the form logarithm of c, not c, plus logarithm of c. Okay, so once we solve this one, what do we get? Logarithm of y equals to x squared plus logarithm of c. And in a second, it will appear why is logarithm of c was a good idea. So after the fact, after the fact. So once we got this one, do the e to the power left hand side. So e to the power logarithm of y is e to the power x squared plus logarithm of c. What's e to the power logarithm of y? E is the base of natural logarithms 2.718. Doesn't matter the value, but the base of natural logarithms. So what is e to the power log y? Y equals to cx squared. Sorry, not c e to the power x squared. No, that's talking about c e to the power x squared. Right. And then let's try to use the initial condition. y of 1 equals to, what, okay, this one, y of 1 equals to 2. So we have to set x equals to 1 and y equals to 2. What do we get here? 2 equals to C E. Right? So what do we see? Equals to 2 over E. So put it back in the formula for the general solution and find the solution by VP. So y solution by VP, let me write it here. We resurface here. Solution of the IBP is y equals to c the power x squared. So y equals to 2 over e the power x squared. Let's put it in a nicer form. How do you combine e the power x squared with 1 over e? So it's e the power x squared minus 1, right? So it's 2 e the power x squared minus 1. So y equals to 2 e the power x squared minus 1 is the solution of the IVP. Right. Again, so this is a nice form, nicely written, because now if we check the initial condition, set x equals 1, this stuff will get 0. So e the power 0 is 1. So the result, if we set x equals 1, is 2. See, that's why so everything kind of aggregates together to get a nice, beautiful result. Normally, I only like those nice results, which are kind of on one line problems. So anyway, so okay, so let's do another one. One in which we need to keep it implicit. We cannot solve explicitly for y. So let's give an example of this one. Okay, let's see. Okay, so y prime equals to 3x squared plus 2x plus 1 over 4y cubed plus 3y squared plus 2y. How to solve this equation? It is separable. Some depending on x and some depending on y is obviously visible, right? So let's solve it. So we get dy over dx equals to this one, 3x squared plus 2x plus 1 over 4y cubed plus 3y squared plus 2y. What's next? Fully separated variables. This one goes up on the left, and this dx goes at the top on the right. So 4y cubed plus 3y squared plus 2y dy equals to 3x squared plus 2x plus 1 dx. Right? So y the power 4 plus y cubed plus y squared equals to x cubed plus x squared plus x plus c. Right. That's the general solution of the differential equation. So what do you want now? So can we solve for y? Yeah, technically we can. There are formulas for different for the algebraic equations up to degree 4, but very bad looking, right? So the last formula, which is nice looking, is quadratic formula. Then for degree 3, Cardano's formula are bad, and for degree 4, it's even worse. But a nice mathematical result for equations of degree 5 or more don't have a formula for the roots. Very important in mathematics. Okay, let's do another one. By the way, do you have other questions some questions from the handout I sent you? Homework? Anybody read the solution I sent you? So that's basically what, right? Okay, so let's do one ad hoc. dy over dx equals to y cos x. How to solve this one? And let's throw initial condition. Y of 1 equals to 1. See how it works. Okay, so let's integrate both sides. Let's separate the variables first. Solution here. dy over y equals to cos x dx. Integrate left and right. Integral of dy over y equals to integral of cos x dx plus logarithm of c. So logarithm of y equals to sine x plus logarithm of c. E the left-hand side equals to E the right-hand side to get rid of the logarithms. So E the power log y equals to E the power sine x plus log c. Y equals to c e the power sine x is the general solution. Okay, so y of 1 equals to 1. Well, the solution will be not nice looking because the sinus of 1 that is not a very nice nice value. So, but still, let's do it. So I have to own it. so okay, there's a trouble in picking things at random. So 1 equals to y is 1 equals to c e the power sinus of 1. So what is c? C equals to e the power minus sinus of 1. Right? Whatever sine 1 is, right? So with this one, let's put it back into the general solution. So what will be the solution of the IVP? Y equals to e the power, let's put a nicer form, sine x minus sinus of 1. Now it looks nice. At least I try to extract the maximum mathematical beauty